Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of February 23rd. We are going to jump right in here. You have this standstill in this opportunity card coming up first. There could be like an opportunity after a standstill, although I think the opportunity is the standstill. I feel like if this part of the reading is for you, you've been in a standstill where it's like things aren't really bad, things aren't really good, things aren't going up, things aren't really going down. It's kind of more of like a plateau in your life here, Virgo. And I feel like you're about to like discover something, in that lack of movement, if you want to put it that way. And so I feel this is a good thing. And actually, we see a ton of forward movement in this reading, especially Ace of Swords, Six of Wands. So if you have been feeling stuck, this is, good for getting unstuck this reading, which I like to see. The other thing that's popping into my head, Virgo, and, again, I attach dates to these readings, but if something pops into my head, I say it. So I was getting May in my head when I started your reading. And so there could be, something that happens in May, or there could be like a little bit of a breakthrough in May. So yes, this is for the week of the 23rd of February, but, I would also, I would kind of like create like a little bit of a bookmark here in your mind to check back in May or something like that. We'll see what comes up. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Justice card, and the High Priestess in your current general energies. Everybody's had the Justice card this week, which, I don't know, I think it's a good thing, obviously. I mean, you also have the Ace of Swords. The two cards together are good justice, like getting justice or balance. Six of Pentacles, very similar. He's holding this balance in his hands here, and he is like balancing out a situation. He's giving to this person, not this person. And so he's giving to a person that gives back to him, and he's creating more balance in his life by doing that. So it could be a really good time for you to create more balance in your life, or to balance things out. I would also say it's going to be important to pay attention to what you're investing in, really important at this time. There's something about Saturn and Aries. I don't really know what it is, but what I would say is there's something about Saturn and Aries that really wants us to pay attention to like what we're giving energy to, probably because it is a lot of energy. Neptune and Saturn and Aries is a lot of energy. And I think a lot of us could feel like we want to start making progress or start charging forward. And, we need to make sure that we're not wasting that energy on something that doesn't deserve it. And so I would pay attention. Virgo, also amazing. You have 2 6s here. 2 6s is like confirmation for your path. It says you're going in the right direction. You're doing the things you need to be doing. So again, another kind of sign that you're finally moving on from a standstill. You have the Justice card. Again, I think you've been getting this whole justice thing for a long time. I think that for Virgo, it's a little bit different because it's almost as if there has been an injustice in your life. Like maybe over the past few years, some sort of injustice happened to you. And this could be you getting justice. Now, I always say, like, sometimes I think that justice comes in the form of, like, positive karma. So, like, if this was, like, maybe if you got fired for the wrong reason or something like that, it's like you might not be getting something, like, from that job, right? But you might be getting some other form of positive karma because of it. So, I kind of feel that for you here, Virgo. The other thing is I'm shooting this on the 17th, the day of the eclipse. We're having this Aquarius eclipse. It's actually already happened, because it's almost 9 o'clock right now. And so it's already happened. But what I would say is that, eclipse energy can last for like 6 months. And eclipses can bring in positive karma. This eclipse was conjunct Venus. And so it was also square Uranus, which makes it a little sketchy. But at the same time, the Venus conjunction definitely could bring in some like karmic rewards. And again, it might not happen on the 17th. Obviously this is going to be published on the 18th, but it could happen over the next 6 months. Could be May, like I said. You have the High Priestess, very intuitive time. I mean, I think everybody's intuition is going to be a little bit on fire right now because Neptune has entered into Aries. I think of Neptune in Aries as more of that like very first immediate gut instinct intuition you have about everything that you're dealing with. So I would really trust that immediate gut instinct situation feeling that you have on like anything that you're doing here, Virgo. It's going to be very important. The other thing is I think it would be a good time for you to say yes to opportunity. You have this opportunity card. You have the Ace of Swords. You have the Ace of Cups as well. 2 aces is a definite new opportunity that could be very good for you. I think the challenge with opportunity right now, and again, long story short, because I could talk about this all day, we had Pluto in Capricorn a while ago. And now, Aquarius, obviously Pluto's been in Aquarius for over a year at this point. But I think that with the Pluto and Capricorn energy, even though we're past it, we could still be kind of like feeling it or dealing with the consequences of that time. And I feel that a lot of us could be being presented with opportunities that kind of like look close to what we want, but doesn't look exactly like what we want. And this is not a bad thing. I always tell people you can quit, right? Or you can leave. And so if you get an opportunity that doesn't look exactly right, I would still say yes, maybe, as long as it, obviously if it's a crappy opportunity and you can tell, don't take it. But the High Priestess says, she's my card that says there's more to the story. So it's like you might be seeing just the cover of the book and you might be like, oh, that's an interesting book. Maybe I should look at it. And then when you start to read it, it sucks you in, right? That's kind of like the opportunities that could be coming up for you, where it's like at first you're not sure, but then when you get into it, it's like something really good. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Empress. Love it. A lot of abundance here. Again, the readings have been pretty positive. Again, this eclipse, I think, is a little sketchy to me, like I said, but, sometimes I'm wrong, right? And the readings have been pretty good. So I think it could be a great time of creating abundance and focusing on abundance. Again, today also marks the start of the Chinese New Year. So, we're entering into the year of the Fire Horse, which, I think overall is going to have people kind of like charging towards victories or, charging towards things they want. With the Justice card, you have the Ten of Swords. Yes, I told you, stabbed in the back situation. And this has been coming up for you for like 2 years now here, Virgo. I think you dealt with something that was like a stabbed in the back situation, or, I don't know, maybe you feel like you were naive in a situation or something like that is popping into my head. And the Ten of Swords, he's making the symbol with his hand that represents a blessing in disguise. So you could finally be getting the blessing from what you went through, which is good. With the High Priestess, you have the High Priestess. So basically the universe saying I meant what I said, trust your intuition. Also be willing to explore the potential of new opportunities. She has no roof over her head. And so what she puts into things is what she gets out of them. And, again, that could be anything. So it's like you might not immediately see what something is for you. This could be any situation. Could be like a love situation that turns out better than you thought. Could be a business opportunity. Could be a work opportunity. And, I really feel exploring those situations will be valuable, even if you do quit, right? The High Priestess, she gains knowledge from exploring her potential. So even if she quits something, she still gets something out of it. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Get Lost card here, Virgo. It says, fall deep into the realm of imagination. We have some good imagination cards here. High Priestess twice, Star, Ace of Cups even. You have this card that says, let it go. It says, let go of all that no longer serves you. Yes, definitely. And I do feel it would be a good time for you to kind of have some imagination time. I kind of see our life in buckets right now. I think it would be good. There's something about the energy right now where I feel like we have to have structure. If you're just daydreaming all day long, then that would probably be bad. But if every single morning you wake up and you allow yourself to daydream for 20 minutes or something like that, that would be good because you're adding structure to what you're doing. And so I would definitely encourage you to get lost in your imagination, but daydream about it for a certain amount of time. And the other thing I would add to that is Saturn loves action in Aries, and Saturn also loves structure. So if you're dreaming of something you want to create, it's take the first step after you daydream about it and go from there. You have the Ace of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Star. Ace of Swords can be a victory or big success coming in for you, which is great. You have two aces here. Ace of Swords can also be the truth. So some of you could be, with a Justice card, getting the truth of a situation. And, that could be your justice from something. The other thing is the sword is above the mountains. And so the sword being above the mountains says that you could be overcoming an obstacle. The whole point of the sword above the mountains is it says you're overcoming an obstacle easily. So if you have been dealing with any obstacles, I feel this is you overcoming those obstacles. On top of that, the Ace of Swords cuts both ways. So sometimes we have to cut something out to have something better in our lives with the Ace of Swords. And you have that card that says let go. So if there's something that no longer serves you, cut it out. You have the Six of Wands, and you have the Star, and the Empress. This is all very good for attention, Virgo. Again, I said it like 2 years ago now, that we're entering into a time of attention. And we have Pluto and Aquarius, which, as far as I'm concerned, we should be trying to get as much attention as we possibly can. Uranus will be moving into Gemini in April. Uranus in Gemini is about being a rebel. It's about, sticking out like a sore thumb. And so we have to stick out. We have, especially in like work or business, but also love, for example, standing out for being different or standing out for the right reasons is what we want to focus on. And, it's the quickest way to success right now, really. Of course, we want to be loud for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. Like I've said, we're going to see tons of people being loud for the wrong reasons, and we don't want to do that. But again, could be a lot of success. We also have this person here who's meant to look jealous, and I feel like that could be a little bit of a clue for you. I actually feel like jealousy could be a good thing for you, Virgo. Like if you're noticing that people are saying things about you that because they're jealous, that could be a clue that you're moving in the right direction. So I would don't worry about jealousy. You have the Star, which is great. The Star can be like hope, faith, renewal, and you have a lot of good cards for self-care with the Empress as well. So anything you can do to take care of yourself better this week would be great. But I kind of feel like you're getting a wish with this Star card. You have the Ace of Cups here to the Three of Cups. These three ladies are celebrating a harvest. And so if you have been hoping for like a financial harvest or to make more money, definitely could be coming in for you. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. You have this card, the Get Lost card. The Page of Wands, he would get lost on purpose, right? He just follows his enthusiasm. He's going on a journey. He has no clue where he's going, but he's kind of like getting lost. He's like, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to allow one thing to lead to another. I'm just going to follow my inspirations, right? And I think being in that energy would be very good for you. Like looking at something as a adventure where you don't know the outcome would be good. And he's more playful about it. Like he looks at his adventures as play. He looks at it as something that's fulfilling, that leads to experiences, that, pushes his potential, as we were saying with the High Priestess. And I think all that would be good for you. With the Six of Wands here, I can't get a card. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is great. Fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. Good things happening after a difficult period of time. You have a lot of celebration energy here, Virgo. So, there could be some sort of celebration, even if it's like personal, even if you're just celebrating on your own, something that you're accomplishing. We see a lot of great accomplishment stuff going on in this reading. By the way, this is a card of imagination. They are imagining those 10 cups above their heads. They are choosing to celebrate something in the real world. So they're standing in the real world. They still have to deal with all the real world problems and challenges, but they're choosing to focus on something that brings them fulfillment. With the Star, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. You have the Eight of Swords twice. Whenever we have a card here, and then we have the same card here, it's kind of like the universe is zooming in on that card and providing us with more details on the Eight of Swords. So these two cards will, and whatever we clarify with, will provide us more detail. But the Star is about needing to be open. Obviously, it's about only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So I would make sure you're opening up to all solutions. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this impulse card and this release card. Yeah, there's clearly something you have to release this week. You have that let go card, the Ace of Swords. So if you're thinking about cutting anything out, I think it would be a good week to do that. Probably lead to a lot more freedom and success in your life, which would obviously be a good thing. I would be careful of impulsive decisions at this time because we have Saturn and Aries, Neptune and Aries can be a little bit impulsive. And yeah, just, something I would be careful of. You have the Eight of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Seven of Swords. The Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, as I already said. But you have the Ace of Cups here as well. And she is standing in this shallow pool of water. And that shallow pool of water represents shallow emotions. It doesn't say she is shallow. It just says that she's making a bigger deal out of her situation than she needs to. And that is preventing her from setting herself free. So, if you are feeling stuck or in a standstill this week, I think just saying to yourself, like, okay, I'm probably attaching too much to the situation, and I just need to realize there are other ways of getting out of it, then you'll probably find a solution pretty quickly, and that's what I would do there. You have the Ace of Cups. Again, pretty good. Good, definitely with Eight of Swords, it can be like saying you need to get out of your emotional state or your emotions, like I said, or you need to watch your emotions. But the Ace of Cups can be your emotions overflowing, being very happy. And you have the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is about choosing happiness. And, maybe that's the decision you have to make this week. If there's a situation that you're feeling stuck in, but it's also interrupting your happiness, that could be the thing that you're cutting out of your life because you are choosing happiness. Again, Ace of Cups is not always easy. Sometimes we have to say, this relationship isn't making me happy. I have to leave, even if it's like a decent relationship, right? It could also be a job, or it could be something else. I do think a lot of people are making these hard decisions right now. I'm recording this on the 17th, the day of the eclipse. So, like I said, even though this will be published after the eclipse, doesn't matter. Eclipse energy lasts for like 6 months. So, you could be making some hard decisions, not necessarily hard, but, decisions that ultimately will probably make you a lot happier, which of course is good. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is a card of tactics. A lot of people read it as lying, cheating, stealing, which sure, it can be, but at the same time, it's a golden card. Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. And he is sneaking away from this army in the background of the card. And so he is going to war without going to war. He's stealing these swords. And I feel a lot of you, it's like there are, maybe some tactical moves you could make right now that would lead to a lot of success. He's also taking things too seriously. He has these polka dots on his cloak, and polka dots in the tarot represent needing to be more playful, taking things too seriously, attaching too much importance to what you're doing. And you have that Page of Wands where we were basically saying that. So I feel it would be a good week to make sure you're not attaching like too much importance to the things that you're creating. And, I think it would be better for you to make mistakes, which I think I said to you in your last reading as well. We have a Mercury retrograde coming up. Mercury retrograde is a great time to make mistakes because you learn from those mistakes a million times faster. And, that's what I would do with the Seven of Swords. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Strength card. Like, it's almost like, dealing with an issue that you're stronger than is kind of what this is saying to me. It's like, it's like the elephant story. I don't know if I've ever told you the elephant story, but the story is when elephants are babies, they put these big ass chains around their legs, right? And so they pull and pull and pull, and they fight and fight and fight, and they can't escape, right? So when the elephant becomes an adult, they could tie a very tiny string around its leg, and it won't fight against it because when it was a baby, it couldn't get free from the chains. And so that is like this right here, where you are much, much stronger than an issue that you're dealing with or whatever. You could easily break the string and set yourself free, but I think this is saying you need to set yourself free from something that is like a limitation. It could be your emotions. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Devil. So the Devil, again, I think it doesn't have to be a bad card necessarily. The Devil to me can represent an energy vampire in your life, something that sucks the energy out of you, something that you're dealing with. So obviously, if you have any energy vampires, which don't just have to be people, they can be, things that you're dealing with, things you're working on, I would be cutting out those energy vampires. I would also say that creativity could be the answer. These people have these animal horns on their heads. And animal horns in the tarot represent your baser instincts. And so it kind of represents root chakra energy. So sometimes I think with the Devil, we have to like bring the energy up to our heads and express it into the world. So if you're wanting to create something, now is the time here, Virgo. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like time to do things differently here, Virgo, whatever it is that you're working on in life. I don't think this is bad at all. I think that Seven of Swords is just saying there's like a different approach to success that you could be tapping into here, and I would tap into it. The other thing with this Seven of Swords is he's carrying those swords by their tips. So obviously, carrying swords by their tips is a bad idea. You're going to cut your hands, right? So he's tiptoeing away because he has to be careful. But what I would say is like, where are you being too careful? It's like, where are you not making a big enough impact? Where are you not being controversial enough in life, right? This is Uranus and Gemini. We're going to see a lot of people doing this. I think, if you have any other favorite YouTubers, It's like I think we'll see a lot of people who become more controversial in some ways. And, again, in some ways, that we will see some of those people grow as long as they're doing it for the right reasons, like speaking their truth, right? With the Ace of Swords, for example. In other ways, we're going to see people just being jerks, I think. Those people are going to fail. So, again, but it's like, where do you need to like push the limits, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have a seduction card. It says passion, pleasure, temptation, beauty, attraction, chemistry, flirting, play, self-intrigue, and mating dance. You have this marriage card. It says business partnership, joining forces, romance to the next level, connection, coming together. So yes, if you are looking for love, definitely could be a very solid connection coming in for you at this time. Could be any sign. You have like everything here. Saturn, you have Libra, Pisces, Aquarius, Taurus, Capricorn, fire, literally could be anything, but good time for love for sure. You have the Three of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Page of Wands. Three of Cups can be a celebration. These three ladies are celebrating a harvest. I feel like it's about damn time here, Virgo, is what I feel like saying. It's like about damn time you have this harvest that's coming in for you. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It could be until May. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, May was popping into my head. So this could be something that you're building up to. But I do feel there is like a future harvest coming in. You have the Queen of Wands, which is my card of seduction. So definitely could be, if you're looking for love, doesn't matter what gender you are either. Yeah, this is a woman, but whatever you are, put yourself out there. She is very seductive. She can attract new people in very quickly. And like I said, if you're looking for love, now is the time. She also has this sunflower right here. So I do feel it would be a great time to move towards love, joy, happiness, peace, good feelings. She uses the sun to guide her on her journey. And so she just moves towards things that make her happy, things that, bring her fulfillment. And that's what I would work on here. You have the Page of Wands, again, that happy-go-lucky, kind of adventurous energy, not knowing the outcome of something. Again, it's in like avoiding perfection, which I know can be hard for Virgo for sure. But it's like knowing that at a certain point, things have to be done. And you just have to put them out there, It reminds me of like one time I had a lady I was teaching YouTube to, and again, people always say don't say these things behind people's backs. I say it directly to their freaking face. Okay, so I have no filter, right? But anyway, she was working on a video, and she was like trying to make a bunch of changes and everything, and she's like, I don't want my first video to not be perfect because people will think I'm doing whatever in the future. I'm like, no. That's not how it works at all. I'm like, at a certain point, you have to be done, and there is no such thing as perfection, so you have to get out here. It's like, this isn't an English test where, a teacher is going to whip out a red marker and be like, oh, you spelt this wrong, you got this grammar wrong over here, you did this thing wrong, and all that other stuff. And I find that people who judge like that in the first place aren't very successful anyway, right? So wouldn't even worry about it. But, I think this is saying it's like time to put your work out there. It's time to be criticized. It's like without criticism, you can't make the appropriate changes. So it's like criticism isn't even a bad thing in the first place. With the Three of Cups, you have the Page of Swords. You could have someone who has their eye on you here, Virgo. Or you have your eye on someone, I feel, for some of you. And if you do, I would go for it. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yes, putting your work on display, opening yourself up to criticism. It's coming up in the good stuff, though, but, he's done a good job. He is getting credit for the work that he's done. So, as with all your past, 200 readings that I've done for you, it's time to put your work on display. With the Page of Wands, you have the Four of Wands. There you go. Could be marriage potential. For those of you that are looking for a connection, you could be meeting someone that you connect to. This could also just be a commitment. Could be you committing to the journey. Could be you committing to starting something new. You have this eagle. It says triumph over obstacles. Love it. We said that with the Ace of Swords. I was saying that you're overcoming an obstacle. You have this tulip. It says great passion. Yeah, it's like you need more passion in your life. Again, if you were passionate about what you were doing, you would just do it. And you wouldn't worry about the criticism. You would just be putting it out there because what fulfills you isn't other people. It's the passion. It's the thing that you're doing, right? And I feel like that's what this is saying. You have this card that says a journey, either physical or mental. Yes, the whole entire reading is saying there is an adventure in front of you here, Virgo. It might not be like a literal adventure. It might be like you're starting a business or you're finally putting your work on display, and that could be the adventure. You have this pail that says time to get out of a situation. There's clearly something that you need to cut out this week. I think you already know what it is, so I would just cut it out. You have this broken ring. It says parting the ways in romance or business. So, that could be the thing that you're cutting out, something romantic or something business related. Whatever it is, I would do it, plain and simple. But this looks really good here, Virgo. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to drop a like, leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.